Shane Cashman, and welcome to Tales from the Inverted World, Volume 2, Ghosts of the Civil War. Now a Timcast exclusive. The following story you are about to hear is true. The House of Seven Ghosts, Part 2. Clint was alone in his yard when a man in a red truck pulled up from nowhere. He rolled down the window and told Clint he better stop looking for the gold. He seemed angry. The man had gray hair slicked back and wore glasses. There was a hat with the rebel flag on the dash. Clint had never seen the man before. "Why are you looking for the gold?" he asked Clint. He thought this could go one of two ways: play it cool and let the man leave, no problem, or tell this man to mind his own damn business and drive off before things escalated. He was on Clint's property, and his children and girlfriend were in the house behind him. Clint sidestepped any talk of gold and told the man that he's related to David Dennard. He liked to use David's name as if it were a key to the city. David's house was also right across the street. The man in the truck didn't seem to care though. Clint was about to ask the guy who he was, but the man threw the car in reverse and said, "Don't be snooping around too much. That gold has got people killed." Clint took down the truck information and shared it with Andy, the sheriff's deputy. Andy made a note of it just in case, but he wasn't too concerned. There were people in Washington who had dedicated their whole lives to finding the gold. You were bound to step on someone's toes trying to find it amongst the gold tourists walking around with metal detectors, tracing the steps of history and folklore. They searched for the gold like others played the lottery. The man in the red truck was probably someone who'd obsessed over the gold, and he seemed like he wanted to stop anyone else from trying to share his vice. The very idea of the gold was territorial. Such was the case in 1865. Such is the case today. If anything, now Clint and I felt like we were doing something right. We wondered whom we might have talked to or where we might have looked that put us on the man's radar. Clint wondered if someone like Katrina, who seemed more closely related to Hollywood than Washington, could stage something like a threat. It would be a pretty wild thing to do, seeing as how nearly everyone in town walked around with hardware to drop you in your grave. And surely a man's house was not the place to even attempt a trespass with a threat. I didn't know her well enough to make an accusation, but it crossed my mind too. Clint did say he saw a similar truck parked at one of Katrina's filming locations. The problem was, for such a small town, there seemed to be as many red trucks as there were churches. Either way, we kept an eye out for red trucks and asked around town if anyone knew the guy. No one did. Or if they had, maybe they weren't going to tell us. Clint had been warned about the gold before. He remembered something his late cousin Leonard told him years ago. Eventually, you will get a visit from somebody who knows you're looking for the gold. Sign up at timcast.com to watch the full episodes of Tales from the Inverted World, Ghosts of the Civil War.